Hello chess fans, this is Rick from Chess to Impress with the next video in the alphabet series. We have arrived at the letter K, a famous letter in chess. Karpov, Kasparov, Kramnik, 3 consecutive world champions. And what about the great Viktor Korchnoi? Let's see what your suggestions were. The King's Gambit said Scoey Jordan, Joey P and Radu. Karpov was voted for by Scoey and Wish. A game from the Karpov-Kasparov match, said M. Peter, Balazs Sabo and Daniel Bamberger, and Igor Govorushko suggested Isaac Kashdan. Who is he? The King's Indian defense was proposed by Daniel Bamberger, who also suggested the King's Indian attack. Capablanca with a K was a funny suggestion by Daniel, and the great Viktor Korchnoi was suggested twice by Joseph and Mateusz. Knight Brilliancy was something that Al Foster wanted to see, and one of the old masters, Legal de Carmeur, the Legal's mate is named after him, was suggested by Bent. Konero Humpy, one of the strongest current female players, was suggested by Raj, and the great Paul Keras from Estonia was a suggestion by Mateusz Penteado. I've already made so many videos on Karpov, Kasparov and Korchnoi that I decided to go with Igor's suggestion of Isaac Kashdan. I had heard the name, but I knew very little about this chess player, so I thought let's do some research and tell you all about it. Isaac Kashdan was born in 1905 and died 80 years later in 1985. He was an American grandmaster and chess writer, twice US Open champion in 1938 and 1947. He was called Der kleine Capablanca in German because of his ability to extract victories from seemingly even positions. A great endgame player he was. Alexander Alyechin named him one of the most likely players to succeed him as world champion. That didn't happen. And that was because Kashdan could not engage seriously in a chess career for financial reasons. His peak years coincided with the Great Depression. He earned a living as an insurance agent and administrator in order to support his family. He was a US Olympic hero. He played 5 times for the USA team in the Olympiads. In 1928 for the first time on board 1 in the second Olympiad ever held in The Hague in the Netherlands. Won 12 games. 1 loss and 2 draws. In 1930, the Olympiad was held in Hamburg, and he had again a great score of 12 wins and only 1 loss. In 1931, in the 4th Olympiad in Prague in the Czech Republic, +8, -1 and 8 draws. And in Folkestone in the United Kingdom in 1933, he again had a very good score. In 1937, he played his last Olympiad, and that was held in Stockholm in Sweden. 13 wins, 1 loss and 2 draws. In Stockholm, 1937, that last Olympiad, he scored 14 points out of 16 games, the best individual score of all players there. And his all-time Olympic record stands at 79.7%, 52 wins, only 5 losses and 22 draws, the best all-time score amongst American players. Kashdan won 4 team medals in the Olympiads, 3 golds, 1 silver and 5 individual medals, 2 golds, 1 silver and 2 bronze. Amongst players who have played in the open section of 4 or more Olympiads, Kashdan's winning percentage is the 4th best in history, behind world champions Misha Tal, Anatoly Karpov and Tigran Petrosyan. He surely was an Olympic hero for the US. This is a nice quote from the great Kashdan. You will win with either color if you are the better player, but it takes longer with black. Let's have a look at a game from Isaac Kashdan from the Olympiad, from the first Olympiad he played in The Hague in 1928. This game was played on the 25th of July in that year. It was in a match, United States of America against Germany, and it was played in round 5. Kashdan had the white pieces and his opponent was Max Blumich, and Kashdan opened with the e-pawn, d6, d4, knight f6, knight c3, and g6. Black is playing the Pirch defense. The players follow the main line, f4, bishop g7, knight f3, castling, and bishop c4. That is the 5th most popular option in the database. Bishop d3 is the most popular option. But bishop c4 was played by Kashdan. And here knight takes e4 was played by, for example, Grandmaster Gurevich in this position, but c5 was played in 1928 by Blumik. That pawn was taken by Kashdan, and then queen a5, which is attacking the e4 pawn. This pawn is now hanging, as the knight is now pinned by the queen. Queen e2 to solve that problem, protecting the e-pawn, but knight takes e4 happens anyway. And tactically, this move is correct. Yes, that knight can be taken, queen takes e4, white is a piece up, but then there is bishop takes c3 check. And if you recapture, that is a bad move, because then there is queen takes c3 check, the king has to play, and queen takes a1. And this is better for black. So after bishop takes c3 check, white should not take. Kashdan saw that and played king f2. Blumik hurried back with the bishop to g7, and a knight and a pawn has been swapped in a rather unusual way. The position is equal. Kashdan took on d6, e takes, knight g5, bishop d7, queen d5, offering a trade of queens, and Blumik took. Kashdan took back and is now threatening to take on b7, followed by taking on a8. So knight c6 was played by black, and c3. And now this bishop can play as well without the pawn on b2 hanging. 8-6, kicking the knight. Knight went back to e4, bishop e6, and rook d1. So far so good. We have played 17 moves and the position is still about equal. But now Max Blumik decided that it was time for tactical fireworks. And he played bishop g7 to d4 check here. A very fancy move, blocking the protection from the bishop on d5. With a check, so that bishop on d5 is now hanging. But unfortunately, this move deserves a double question mark. There's a big hole in this tactical shot. As we'll see, the game will last for only one more move. This is a nice tactical puzzle. Put the video on pause and try to work out how Isaac Kashdan refuted this move, bishop d4 check. You might think you can just take with the rook. Now the bishop on d5 is protected again. That rook can be taken. Knight takes d4, c takes d4, bishop takes d5, but then there is knight f6 check. And that's a move that black must have overlooked. That's a fork, winning a piece back, king g7, and knight takes d5, and this is better for white, with bishop and knight for the rook. But white is even better. In this position he can take with a pawn, and that is what Kashdan did. Did you find that move? Did you find c takes d4? And here Blumik saw what he had done and he resigned. Why does that win? Well, we saw that variation already. The bishop can indeed be taken, but now there is knight f6 check, winning the piece back, and you have just picked up a piece on d4. So after king g7, knight takes d5, white has a full extra piece, and there is no hope for black. So a very sudden finish to this game. After rook d1 on the 17th move, the position is about equal. Almost any move is good, but not bishop d4 check. After c takes d4 on the 18th move, black resigned, and Isaac Kashdan had won another game in the Olympiad. And as we saw before, he was the most successful American player in chess Olympiad history and the 4th most successful player ever, behind 3 former world champions. Isaac Kashdan, one of the great unknown players of our beautiful game. In the next video in this series we will look at the letter L, and I hope you will give me your suggestions in the comment section. I hope you like this video and that you like the alphabet series. If you do, please give the video a thumbs up, please subscribe to the Chess to Impress channel, and please leave a comment. I will read them all and I will reply to them all. If you like the video, it would be great if you could share it on social media by clicking the share button on YouTube. You can find me on Instagram, on Twitter and on Facebook. This is Rick for Chess to Impress. Thank you for watching.